Hello everybody, this is Stephen Howson, and it's been a while actually since we've had a Sunday paper review, isn't it? All the United games on a Sunday, or things that I've had to do myself on Sunday, travelling and all the rest of it, has meant that Sunday paper reviews have been pretty hard to come by of late. But today I have got the Sunday Telegraph, pow, and I have got the Sunday People, pow, and we will get into those in a minute. We've got some really interesting stuff in there. Thanks to everybody who's getting in the mix on Reddit. More of you come and join us on Reddit. It's a place for us to chat, and I put my weekly schedule on there so you can see what videos are coming out, have a little bit of a back and forth, talk about some ideas. I always asking for feedback on what you guys are liking, watching on the channel and all that sort of stuff, so it's really valuable. I really appreciate everyone who's already on there. I'll throw the link in the description below. Gaming channel, I had to take the gaming off this channel because I wasn't happy with the effect that the gaming videos was having. YouTube algorithm is really weird, and it looks at what your past videos have done before showing it to a percentage of your subscribers and all the rest of it. So it was hitting this channel to have the games on here because they are less popular than like the analysis videos and stuff like that. So I've taken them off, and they are now on a separate gaming channel, and I will put the link in for that below as well. On the gaming channel, it's going to be completely packed out with old school football games, FIFA, Football Manager, Championship Manager, tons of retro games. The first game that I uploaded was Mario Kart. I've got a retro Pi, which means I've literally any retro game that you can think of, for the Amiga, for the Spectrum, for the Atari, arcade games, PC games, PlayStation games, Xbox games, Master System games, NES games, Saturn games, anything that you can think of, I've got. There's 11,000 games on there, so anything that you want. I'm doing a bit of a poll on Twitter at the moment. What do you want to see for the first gaming one release, which might probably be tomorrow? FIFA 94, Road to World Cup 98, Sensible Soccer, or something else. So let me know either in the comments here on Reddit or on Twitter. There's a poll on Twitter. What you want to see, and I will get them recorded. I'm going to record maybe half a dozen if I get the opportunity to tonight, and then I'll be releasing them in whichever order you guys want to see them. So get over to there. Let's get straight into the paper reviews. So, it is not a good week for David Moyes. Moyes needs a miracle. I've been quite tame on this, to be honest, because they are falling fast. They're on 0 wins. They're on 2 points after 10 games, which means that if they look at the current form, they could be on 9 or 10 points come the end of the season. Could they go an entire season without winning a game? I'm not sure if that's ever happened before. I'd be amazed if that's never happened before, a team that's never won a game. Didn't Derby finish on super low points a few years back? Sure, they managed to win at least a game though. Horrifically bad at the moment. Everyone's just rolling up and beating them. David Moyes needs a miracle. This is an interesting one as well. Jack Rodwell. I remember Jack Rodwell was the best thing in the world when City signed him, and it was an obvious signing of just signing an English player to fill your English quota because you've got no homegrown talent. 1,271 days, 35 starts, no wins for Jack Rodwell. That's bad, isn't it? Now you can't say it's all Jack Rodwell. There is obviously other players on the pitch, but that is bad. And he's now beaten the previous record set by a guy called Stuart Barrowclough in 1979. I remember there was a time when Tottenham went 20 plus games with Gareth Bale as a left back without winning games, and obviously it wasn't Gareth Bale as a left back was the reason why they was losing games. Obviously it's just one of those weird coincidences that you get sometimes in football. Rodwell's having an absolute shocker there. Let's move on anyway, and here we see a prime example of the anti-United bias in the media. United's clown is slipping. It's a double page spread. The other page is Jose Mourinho. So Mourinho's getting called a clown for appealing what was a penalty. He was sent to the stands for over-appealing ridiculous refereeing decisions. And you know what? It's probably a good thing that he got sent to the stands when he did, because some of the refereeing decisions in the second half was even worse than the ones in the first half. So he would have definitely been sent. Maybe he would have even done something crazier and then walking onto the pitch and having a go at him, or maybe even putting his hands on him, because some of the refereeing yesterday was absolutely abysmal. But anyway, Steve Bates goes in deep and he's saying all sorts of shit, really. Like, basically the media's going two-footed in on Jose Mourinho. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. There's another thing on the back page actually that I wanted to talk about. We'll get to it in a sec. So Jose Mourinho's a clown. Jurgen Klopp is the king. King Klopp has a great day at the Palace. Like, you can't make it up. The narrative that the media is portraying in the difference between Guardiola, Klopp, Mourinho, even Arsene Wenger. Arsene Wenger, how many years as a failure without winning the league? People just skirt over it. And yes, I know there's a little bit of mitigation at the moment that these teams are flying high in the league, ahead of us in the league and all the rest of it. But listen, every time you Arsenal fans crow in October, you're all crying come February when you've bombed yourself out of the race. Arsenal are the best team in the world when there's no pressure on. As soon as a bit of pressure comes on, you guys must know it. I mean, we're going through a bad patch, been 3 seasons. No wonder you are all absolutely mental when you've had 12 years. Because what must confuse you is you can play so good and you can take teams to task, but something happens, you get one injury, you completely collapse, and then you're out of the title race. You'll finish top 4, but you'll be out of the title race. And then next year it'll start the same way. You'll end the season really well, you'll start the next season really well, and you'll think you're going to go and smash it, and then you collapse again. Stan Collimore's got a post here on, he might not be a Maverick, but Iceman Koeman is the perfect fit for Everton. Pitching Koeman up against Jurgen Klopp, and it's he's right. And you've got a couple of really good rivalries building across the city. Obviously, you've got Arsenal and Tottenham in London. You've got United and City in Manchester. You've got Everton and Liverpool over there in Liverpool. Obviously, Chelsea probably in the mixer as well. So you've got 3 decent teams there in London. And this is what we're talking about when we talk about how competitive the Premier League is this year and how we're struggling. Finding that our starting 11, we're finding our system, and this is one of the reasons why United are being left off the pace a little bit. But not to worry, because there is so much that you can drop points in. They've all got to play each other. They're all going to drop points, and if we can start scoring, I mean, 37 shots on target yesterday was brilliant. You put a few of them away, and it's happy days, isn't it? I mean, a small percentage of those need to go away. That's it. Also in the bottom corner here, we've got another thing about Cameron Borthwick-Jackson. It says Kid Cameron in line for more action at United. United teenager Cameron Borthwick-Jackson is wanted by Wigan, Preston and Ipswich as Mourinho prepares to bring him back to Old Trafford. He's contracted till after Christmas, so I wouldn't have thought anything's going to happen until then. The defender's barely figured at Wolves since joining on a season-long loan. That's not true. He was first choice for like a month. He's barely figured since then. That's what he's barely figured since. United will see if he gets a regular run out for him following Walter Zenger's exit or pull the plug on the deal. The Championship trio were beaten. I don't know why they were beaten to his signature in the summer, but they've remained keen. He played 14 times last season, and Mourinho has told him that he has got a future at Manchester United. An entirely different style of left-back to Luke Shaw, but his delivery and his crossing, it means he's an absolute threat. He's also very calm and very mature jockeying and defensive positioning, which means that I think he is a wonderfully well-rounded fullback, and going out getting minutes was a real good thing for him in the Championship. If he's not getting minutes though, there is no point being at Wolves. Ahead of Everton and West Ham, Phil Jagielka is saying Rooney has built the bridges to our fans, possibly paving the way for a move at some point in the near future. He's not playing at Manchester United. There's always been talk that he would like to have ended his career at Everton. He had the testimonial, Duncan Ferguson's testimonial, where he did actually wear the Everton kit recently. Is it a deal I could see happening? I think it probably is in the grand scheme of things. I think that's definitely something that I could see happening. And then they've got a bit of a transfer room over here on the left-hand side. We've got Galatasaray lifeline for Memphis. Now, I thought when he came on yesterday, Memphis, he looked like he would bleed for the cause. You can't question his attitude. You can't question his desire. But he does need to be putting in a little bit more product once he gets onto the pitch. That's the only thing that he needs. Effort is definitely there. But they're saying Galatasaray will offer United misfit Memphis Depay a route out of Old Trafford. We reckon they might offer us 15 million for him. I wouldn't like to cash in on him just yet. I think he's a kid that you've got to give time. The talent is 100% there for everybody to see. Just needs a regular run of games. And a regular run of games is what everybody needs. There's an article which I'll come to. It wasn't planned, but it's a good segue. here in the Telegraph, talking about Ryan Bertrand and how Southampton are blazing a trail on developing and trading players. And yes, they are. And what you see is when players go to teams like Southampton is they're able to get game time. One of the problems, like Rodwell, when you come to a team like Manchester City, we all knew he was never going to get games. And you can see it a mile off sometimes when players go places and you go, you're not going to get games. You are not going to get matches for this team. Why are you even bothering to do it? And that's the problem. And you get players like Ryan Bertrand who've had decent starts in their career but can never hold down a first team place at the very, very top level. They drop down just a bit of a level and then they get a good run and then you end up with international call-ups and all the rest of it. Memphis might be going through that at the moment. Rodwell's clearly not going through that at the moment. He got a lot of games at Everton, couldn't push on once he moved to Manchester City. Bertrand has gone the other way, wasn't getting a lot of games at Chelsea, has moved down, and now he's going to be getting a hell of a lot of games at Everton. So, good move for him, good move for Everton. Everton doing all right at the moment under the new manager. Seems to have took to the Premier League pretty well. I mean, what's the expectation for Everton with the competitiveness of the Premier League this year? I think they'll be happy with a top 8 finish, and I think they're probably worth that, I reckon. There's a little piece in the corner over here. I'm not going to hold it up again because the Telegraph's like this, isn't it? And it says, an interview with the Financial Times yesterday, super agent Mino Raiola explained how he told Sir Alex Ferguson in 2012 that the contract offer for his young charge, Paul Pogba, was not one that his two chihuahuas would sign. Wow. Ferguson considered his response and then called Raiola a twat. Raiola describes how he waited for hours to introduce himself to the Juventus managing director Luciano Moggi at the time, and it also goes on to state that he signed up a couple of young starlets in Italy, Moise Kean and Gianluigi Donnarumma. So looks like he's taking over the market. One-man agency, got a hell of a lot of good footballers. Moved a couple to United this summer. Maybe you can look to be moving one next summer as well, as the rumours of Lukaku coming don't seem to be going away. Now for something a bit different. On the back page of the Telegraph, there's a little bit about England Rugby League. I missed the game. Obviously, United was playing yesterday, so I didn't see anything of the game. We lost 17-16, so it sounds like it was a hell of a game against New Zealand in the home nations, the Four Nations. There's still several games left to go, and the final is at Anfield on, I think, the 20th of November. There's a couple more games in the next round and subsequent rounds next weekend, and then I think there's a break, and then it's the following weekend. So I think the 4th and the 20th, I think there's some games on. I'm going to try and get over to some, and if England get to the final, I'm probably going to try and get over to the final as well. So if any of you are interested, want to come with us, give us a shout and we'll head over. There's not much else really in terms of the papers. A little bit of nonsense, as you'd expect. Everyone breathing a sigh of relief in terms of the press that Guardiola managed to get a win after going on his worst run ever, which barely anybody seemed to pick up on. Mourinho's a clown, obviously. And everyone can't wait to stick the boot into Manchester United. Seeing nothing about the referee yesterday. Absolutely nothing, which is a scandal, because it was an absolute utter joke. But do you know what? We'll be all right. We will be all right, because it's different to how it was under Louis van Gaal. We are seeing a bit of an identity of this team coming. We are seeing some really nice one-touch football in and around that final third, which I really like the look of. And we'll get it. We will get it right, and we will sort it out. Doesn't happen overnight. Maybe we're not winning the league this year, but do you know what? Not going to burst into flames if we don't. However, we'll still be here. Ultimately, it's going to be a long road back to the top. It's not going to happen overnight with how competitive and how much money is in the Premier League. So we need to be patient. As all I was saying last season under Louis van Gaal, there's more to this. It doesn't matter who you get at the moment. There's more to this, and you got to give the guy patience, and you've got to back him. So do that. Mourinho's not lost his touch, not by a long stretch. His team's playing good football. He's showing his tactical nous, changing it up for different teams. Chelsea was a little bit of an anomaly, I think. I wouldn't have thought that was going to happen to us again this season. But that'll do for us, I think. So like I said at the start of the video, there's some gaming stuff coming out, so check the link below. Make sure to come and subscribe to the gaming channel. Subscribe to this one if you're new as well. And the schedule is on Reddit, or it will be on Reddit by the time this video is up, for anyone who wants to check out the upload schedule for this week. Thank you for watching, as usual. and I'll see you later.